Welcome back to The Armory. I'm your host. Quick gut check. If you had to walk out your front door tomorrow and disappear into the timber, what are you grabbing? Not what looks cool, not what gets likes, what you trust. Because when you're alone, cold, and burning calories by the hour, your firearm stops being a hobby item. It becomes survival equipment. So let's get into it. Today, we're counting down the top 7 SHTF and wilderness survival firearms of all time. At number 7, we've got the Savage Model 42. Picture yourself in the dense, wet forests of the Pacific Northwest, or pushing through the thick brush of the Appalachian Mountains. In an honest-to-goodness survival situation, you're not out there trying to win some drawn-out firefight with a platoon of bad guys. You're trying to stay warm, stay safe, and above all, stay fed. The combination gun has deep roots going back to European drilling rifles from the late 19th and early 20th centuries, where gamekeepers needed one firearm that could take a wide variety of animals. Here in the States, we had the famous Marble Game Getter, and later the well-loved Savage Model 24. That old wooden-blued steel classic rode behind the seats of countless farm trucks for a reason. The Savage Model 42 is the modern, polymer-wearing continuation of that tradition. It's a break-action, over-under setup that puts a 22 long rifle, or 22 Winchester Magnum rimfire barrel on top, with a 410-bore shotgun barrel underneath. The beauty of the whole concept is how simple it is, and how hard it focuses on small game. Because if you're starving out there, squirrels, rabbits, grouse, and even snakes are what keep you going. The 22 long rifle barrel lets you make precise, quiet shots on still small game at distance. And if a rabbit is slipping through thick cover, or a game bird jumps and takes flight, you can thumb that hammer selector and immediately move over to the 410 shotgun barrel, giving you a pattern that's made for moving targets. The break action itself is tough, and it's about as close to no nonsense as it gets, with basically zero complicated moving parts. No gas system to gum up, no magazines to misplace, and it's easy to keep running with nothing more than a piece of string and a patch. It also breaks down neatly to ride inside a backpack, which makes it a natural fit for a bushcraft-style camp. And that polymer furniture doesn't care about weather, rain, mud, snow. It just shrugs it off. Pros: the Savage Model 42 gives you top-tier versatility for small game foraging. The simple mechanics make it extremely dependable, and it's light enough to carry all day without hating life. Cons: you only get a single shot per barrel, which means follow-up shots are slow. It's also not the answer for big predators like grizzly bears, and it's not built for self-defense against multiple human threats in a full societal collapse. You're trading firepower for foraging utility, plain and simple. On price, the manufacturer suggested retail price lands around $550, and you'll commonly see it in the high 500s depending on the specific version. But in the real world, most local gun shops tend to have it closer to $450 to $500 on the rack. At number 6, we move into a totally different survival mindset with the Ruger Gunsite Scout. Back in the late 1970s and early 1980s, the legendary firearms instructor Colonel Jeff Cooper came up with what he called the Scout rifle concept. Cooper's vision was a general-purpose rifle that could do almost everything well. His hard requirements were that it had to be under 1 meter in overall length, weigh under 3 kilograms, and fire a hard-hitting cartridge, while still allowing maximum situational awareness. Ruger partnered with the prestigious Gunsite Academy, and the end result is honestly impressive. Built on the famously bomb-proof Ruger M77 bolt action, the Gunsite Scout uses a big Mauser-style claw extractor for controlled round feeding. And what that means in plain English is, the instant that cartridge comes out of the magazine, the extractor has it locked, ensuring dependable feeding and extraction, even if the rifle ends up upside down or sideways in a struggle. When things get ugly, most commonly chambered in .308 Winchester, you're looking at one of the most available, most capable, most universally respected big game and defensive cartridges on the planet. Whether you're trying to put a white-tailed deer in the freezer, protect a homestead from a distance, or stop a dangerous predator in its tracks, the .308 Winchester is a proven performer. The rifle comes with a threaded barrel and a flash hider, a detachable box magazine for quick reloads, and excellent iron sights with a protected ghost ring rear and a sturdy front post. If your optic dies out in the wilderness, the Ruger Gunsite Scout still runs like it was built to. And that forward-mounted Picatinny rail is there so you can mount a long eye relief scope. That keeps your peripheral vision open, and it makes the rifle fast, really fast, to shoulder and fire. Pros: outstanding reliability from the controlled round feed bolt action, capable of taking any game in North America. Lots of sighting options, and the kind of rugged durability Ruger is known for. Cons: being a bolt action, it naturally caps your rate of fire compared to a semi-automatic. And 308 recoil in a relatively light rifle that can feel stout for recoil-sensitive shooters. Also, once you add a scope and a loaded magazine, the total weight creeps past Cooper's original strict weight limit. On cost, the manufacturer's suggested retail price is a premium $1,300. But typical street prices are usually closer to $1,100, depending on the stock choice and the finish you go with. At number 5, we have to talk about the most adaptable platform on Earth, the AR-15. If we're doing the top 7 SHTF and wilderness survival firearms of all time, pretending the AR-15 doesn't exist would be ridiculous. Designed by Eugene Stoner in the late 1950s, this rifle has become the modern musket of the American citizen. Up to this point, the guns we've covered leaned heavily toward foraging or medium-range hunting. But the AR-15 really comes alive in the harsh truth of a true grid-down, worst-case scenario where self-defense and logistics become the main game. In a full collapse, supply chains disappear. Being able to locate spare parts, magazines, and ammunition can become a real life-or-death issue. And because the AR-15 is the most popular rifle in the United States, its standard chamberings, 5.56 NATO or 2.23 Remington, along with standardized magazines and internal components, basically turn into a kind of barter currency. But logistics isn't the only story. The real genius of the AR-15 is, plainly, its modularity. By simply swapping the upper receiver, you can change what the rifle does in seconds. You can start your day with a 16-inch 5.56 upper for perimeter defense. Then by afternoon, you can switch to a dedicated 22 long rifle upper to quietly take squirrels without announcing yourself to everyone within earshot out in the woods. As night rolls in, you could even mount a short-barreled 300 blackout upper paired with a suppressor for quiet, hard-hitting security. The internal operating system, commonly called direct impingement, does need regular lubrication to run at its best. But the design keeps the working parts fairly enclosed, which helps keep mud and debris out of the action better than a lot of open-action setups. And the ergonomics are hard to beat. It lets shooters of basically any size work the safety, magazine release, and bolt catch without having to break their firing grip. Pros: unmatched modularity. One lower receiver can cover endless rolls. Very low recoil, so pretty much anyone in the family can shoot it comfortably. High standard magazine capacity, and unmatched logistical support for parts and ammunition. Cons: it needs more cleaning and lubrication than a bolt action or pump action. The standard 5.56 cartridge is widely viewed as marginal for big animals like elk or moose, and carrying a rifle that looks very tactical can pull unwanted attention from desperate people. And because the AR-15 is a platform and not a single manufacturer's one-off gun, prices are all over the map. You can buy highly reliable entry-level rifles from reputable companies around $600, and then premium, duty-grade rifles can push past $2,000 without even trying. Coming in at number 4, we've got a tie between two legends, the Mossberg 500 and the Remington 870 pump-action shotguns. You can't build a top 7 SHTF and wilderness survival list without the American pump-action 12-gauge. The family tree runs back to John Moses Browning, the guy who refined the pump-action idea in the late 19th century. The Remington 870 hit the scene in 1950, using a milled steel receiver that earned it a bank vault reputation. The Mossberg 500 followed in 1961, built around a lightweight aluminum receiver. Both designs use dual action bars, and that matters. It keeps the pump from twisting or binding under stress, so when you run that slide, the next round chambers with real authority. And yeah, the sound of a pump shotgun chambering a shell is recognized worldwide, and it carries its own psychological weight. But the real magic of the 12 gauge is ammunition flexibility. It's the ultimate close-range problem solver. If you need birds like ducks or geese or smaller game, you load birdshot. If you're dealing with a home invasion or a serious close-quarters threat, a shell of double-aught buckshot throws the rough equivalent of 9.9mm projectiles with one pull of the trigger. And if you've got a grizzly bear charging into camp, or you need to take a deer at 50 to 75 yards, you drop a 1-ounce rifled slug right into the chamber, and you've got a completely different level of capability. That's what makes the shotgun special. It adjusts to the environment fast. These guns have trudged through the jungles of Vietnam, lived in the trunks of thousands of police cruisers, and sat ready in the corners of countless hunting cabins. They're famously hard to kill, chewing through sand, mud, and snow while still cycling like they're supposed to. Pros: serious stopping power up close, unmatched versatility thanks to a huge range of loads, and proven reliability in miserable environmental conditions. Cons: 12 gauge ammo is heavy and bulky, so carrying hundreds of rounds on foot is unrealistic. Recoil can be brutal, especially with slugs or buckshot, and that can create flinching in newer shooters. And finally, effective range is very limited compared to a centerfire rifle. Price-wise, these working-class classics are still very attainable. The manufacturer's suggested retail price for basic blued or Parkerized models usually sits between $400 and $500. And you can often find police trade-in guns on the used market around $300, making them one of the smartest survival investments you can make without breaking the bank. Before we hit the top 3, I want to stop for a second. For those watching on a big screen television in the living room, I know typing a comment with a TV remote is a special kind of miserable, but I want to hear from you. Grab your phone, open the YouTube app, search for Gunforge, and leave a comment on this video right now. Tell me which pump shotgun you grew up hunting with. Was it a Mossberg, a Remington, or maybe an old Winchester? Every comment helps this community grow, and I read every single one. Now, let's get back to it. At number 3, we step away from the modern tactical headspace and go back to a piece of history that's still very relevant. The Winchester Model 94 lever-action rifle, often called the gun that won the West, sits right here. The Model 94 is another Browning masterpiece, born out of the mind of John Moses Browning. In 1894, John Moses Browning designed a lever-action system that was finally strong enough to handle the pressure of the new smokeless powder era. That timing lined up with the release of the .30-30 Winchester cartridge in 1895, arguably the most famous deer hunting round in American history. For well over a century, the Winchester 94 has put more venison on American dinner tables than almost any other firearm. So why does a 19th century rifle rank this high on a modern top 7 SHTF and wilderness survival list? It comes down to handling, reliability, and how low profile it is. A lever gun carries like a dream. The receiver is flat, so it slips right into a saddle scabbard, a backpack sleeve, or just rides perfectly balanced in your hand while you hike through thick timber all day. And when you shoulder it, it points naturally, like you're pointing your own finger. And in restrictive political jurisdictions where semi-automatic rifles are heavily regulated or outright banned, the lever action is still legal and still very capable. The tubular magazine sits under the barrel, and one of its biggest tactical advantages is you can keep topping it off through the side loading gate while keeping the rifle in the firing position, loaded and ready. You don't have to strip a magazine out and temporarily leave the gun empty. That .30-30 cartridge is a proven brush gun round. It can take medium game cleanly, and it offers real defensive capability out to 150 yards. Pros: that slim profile makes it easy to carry for miles. The lever action allows quick follow-up shots. You can top off during a lull, and it tends to draw far less hostile attention than a modern military-style rifle. Cons: a tubular magazine means you need flat nose or round nose bullets, so the tip of one round doesn't set off the primer of the one in front of it. That limits aerodynamic performance at distance. It's also slow to reload from completely empty, and mounting modern optics on older top-eject models can be awkward. Pricing on the Model 94 depends heavily on when it was made. Highly desirable pre-1964 rifles can easily break $1,000 on the used market. Post-1964 guns and modern reissues made in Japan by Moroku commonly run from 800 to 1,400, depending on the walnut grade and the level of finish. At number 2, we have to face the cold truth of long-term sustainment. If you're surviving out there for months, you're burning thousands of calories a day, chopping wood, building shelter, and purifying water. You need protein to keep going, and you need to spend as little energy as possible getting it. That's where the undisputed rimfire king steps in, the Ruger 1022. Introduced in 1964 by Bill Ruger and his chief designer, Harry Seyfried, this little 22 long rifle semi-automatic changed the industry. The real brilliance of the 1022 is its proprietary 10-round rotary magazine. Instead of those flimsy protruding stick magazines other rifles used, the Ruger rotary magazine sits flush with the bottom of the stock, clean and snag-free. Inside, it uses a spring-loaded steel rotor that keeps every cartridge separated, which is why feeding into the chamber is so consistently reliable. This rifle is, in plain terms, one of the best small game harvesting tools ever made. A brick of 522 long rifle cartridges is about the size of a thick paperback book, and it weighs around 3.5 pounds. That means a survivor can realistically haul 1,000 to 2,000 rounds in a pack without breaking a sweat, and you just can't do that with centerfire rifles or shotguns. And in a long survival situation, you're probably not chasing giant elk every single day. You're taking squirrels, rabbits, raccoons, and birds. The 1022 has basically zero recoil, which makes accurate shooting easier for just about anyone. It's also surprisingly quiet, especially with subsonic ammo, meaning you can hunt without broadcasting your location to everyone within a 5-mile radius out there. It's the same rifle you teach your grandkids the basics of marksmanship with. And yet, when the grocery shelves are empty, it can still keep you alive. Pros: legendary reliability proven across 60 years, massive carry capacity thanks to lightweight 22 caliber ammo, zero recoil, and an aftermarket so huge you can build a whole new rifle without using a single Ruger R factory part if you wanted to. Cons: the 22 long rifle round is basically useless for defense against large dangerous predators like bears, and it's badly underpowered against well-armed human threats. Also, rimfire ammo, because the priming compound is spun into the rim, is inherently a little less reliable than centerfire. Price is one of the 1022's biggest wins. The manufacturer suggested retail price for a standard hardwood or synthetic carbine sits around $350. But big sporting goods stores regularly run them on sale between $250 and $280. That puts it within reach for almost everyone. And now, here we are at the top. At number 1 on our list of the top 7 SHTF and wilderness survival firearms of all time, we circle back to Eugene Stoner one more time. Before he changed the infantry rifle forever, Stoner worked at Armalite in the 1950s, and he was tasked with designing a survival rifle for United States Air Force pilots. That early bolt-action concept, the AR-5, eventually became the semi-automatic AR-7. Today, Henry Repeating Arms makes what many consider the best modern version of that design, called the Henry U.S. Survival AR-7. Let's be clear, this is not a primary combat rifle. This is not a long-range precision hunting rig. This is the ultimate last-ditch insurance policy. The entire concept behind the AR-7 is portability, concealability, and being basically indifferent to the environment. The heavy-duty ABS plastic stock is hollow. When it's time to pack it away, you unscrew the barrel by hand, pull the receiver out of the stock, and stash both parts, along with 2 8-round magazines, yes, directly inside the buttstock. Then you snap the rubber butt pad back on tight. Stored like that, the rifle is only 16.5 inches long total. It slips into the main compartment of a backpack, hides under a bush plane seat, or rides in the dry box of a canoe without drama. But here's the feature that still blows people's minds. When it's stowed inside that water-resistant stock, or even fully assembled and ready to shoot, the Henry AR-7 floats. If your canoe flips in rapids, or your pack goes into a deep river crossing, your food-gathering tool won't sink into the mud and disappear forever at the bottom. The whole rifle weighs about 3.5 pounds. It's a 22 long rifle semi-automatic you can toss in your pack. Forget about while you hike 20 miles, and then pull out and assemble in under 60 seconds when you make camp and need to take a rabbit for the fire to eat. That's the essence of wilderness survival. It's there when you need it, and it stays out of your way when you don't. Pros: unreal portability and compact storage. Self-contained water-resistant stowage that shields the important parts from rust and debris. The rare ability to float, and the speed of semi-automatic follow-up shots on fast-moving small game. Cons: because the stock has to be hollow and kind of bulbous to hold the receiver and barrel, the ergonomics can feel thick and awkward in the hand. The steel-lined, polymer-coated barrel is thin, and it heats up quickly with rapid fire. And the sights are basic rear peep holes. Rugged, sure, but not meant for pinpoint long-range precision. Value-wise, it's hard to argue with. The manufacturer's suggested retail price is about $360, and a very common everyday street price is right around $300. For the cost of a decent pair of hiking boots, you can buy a tool that could literally save your life in the backcountry. As we close out this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final thought. We can argue ballistics, barrel twist rates, and action types until we're blue in the face. But a firearm, no matter how beautifully made or tactically advanced, is still just steel, aluminum, and polymer. It's a lifeless tool, the real weapon. The ultimate survival instrument is your mind. It's your training, your physical fitness, your situational awareness, and your unbreakable will to keep moving when the world around you goes dark and quiet. These 7 firearms are simply some of the best companions you could hope to have on that hard road. Now I'm handing it over to you. Which of these firearms would you trust with your life if you had to step out your front door and disappear into the timber tomorrow? Why that one? And did we miss a hidden gem you think deserves a spot on this list? If you're watching on a television, pull out your phone, open YouTube, and leave a quick comment anyway. Every voice adds something to this community, and your experience might teach a brand new shooter something that actually matters. Hit like if this breakdown helped you, and share this video with a friend or family member who's putting together their own emergency preparedness kit. Stay safe, stay vigilant, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one. This is The Armory signing off.